Nia, I was about to hit.
I'm so, first of all, I feel like the only time you should be on camera is when you're getting paid to act or do something or sell something or whatever. Because I had to get my hair done just to chat with you today. Because I've been on such a natural, free,
COVID, quarantine.
head wraps, pajamas. I have the best pajamas on the planet right now. I don't know about y'all, but my shit is fly. Hi, Shawn.
Hello, my lovely. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
I'm mad that we haven't actually just FaceTimed.
I know, that's so... You know what I think it is? I feel like so many people are so used to just texting.
We'll text a whole plan.
A whole plan. And most of the time it's because you're doing 10 other things and so am I. So it's you're in between the two things. And then like I've been just trying to get ready for the holidays and stuff. So
Nia, okay, first of all, I gotta know, what are your top 3 things you're doing in quarantine? Are you resting? Are you watching movies? You creating? What are you doing?
Well, I left the country for a month because I was just like, I had to get out of here. And it was probably the best thing that I could have done because I was starting to feel cabin fever. And I think I was afraid to leave, but I was also, I knew where I was going. And I know that they're so careful with their COVID practices. And so I went to Jamaica for a month. And that for me was like very spiritual, very healing. I felt like someone else was taking care of me for a change, So if I had to say what I've been doing, I would say reorganizing everything in my life, reprioritizing everything in my life.
Take him to church, Nia. Let's go to church.
And really getting rid of the fat, like getting rid of the things in my life that are no longer valuable to me because this COVID has forced us all to be in love with simplicity and being able to just realize that you don't really need 10 pairs of sneakers. 2 is fine. Right. And that's just materialism. But let's talk about like
mindset
of just like, it's like, first of all, there's no soul in California. I mean, I love my city, but it's very hard to find a pulse here.
And culture,
right. And so I miss that. I miss that whole like connecting with people. And here it's just, we have a lot of folks that come here with the fascination of being superstars. And it's not easy to get in this business. So I think a lot of people have left to go home to their hometowns. And I think it's been interesting to drive down the street because there are not a lot of people in the street. Well, for obvious reasons, but also just,
Right. Well, I mean,
in general.
No, Nia, that I think is crazy because you and I are so close. I sometimes I don't forget that you're Nia, but I'm like, that's my homie, that's my girl. And then there are moments where I'm like,
that's who I eat tacos with and drink good champagne with.
Right. I'm like, but then there are times where I'm like, this is like the Nia alone. Like you have been, and I'm just giving you a flowers real quick, the blueprint and brown print for Black women in film since I can remember. And you don't even look like you look like we're the same, you know what I'm saying? I'm like a birthday 50 in Jamaica. How? Who looks like 50? Who? But Nia, like, do you understand? And I always wanted to ask you this, but I just, when we talk, we just bullshit. I'm like, do you understand your impact? Like, do you have you conceptualized what you have brought?
No, because my children could care less. No, I'm kidding. That's not true. My children love me and they know how hard I work and all of those things. But it's funny because I never did this. I never started in this business to be famous, right? Like I started because my mom was a single mom. She was highly educated and she couldn't get a job. And I just felt like during that time, it was really rough for Black people in general. Like if it wasn't for affirmative action, like I don't know what would have kicked in to help my mother's generation of college educated women who were qualified to have equal pay and who were qualified for certain positions. And I think when I saw that the system was failing my mother, I had this undeniable fire and passion to help her. Mm-hmm. And so as a child, I was, super early on, I was like, oh my God, I got to do something to make money, but I also have to do something I like because I know I'm an artist. Right. And so acting was that thing for me. And I watched my mother struggle. I watched her get beat up, not physically, but like emotionally beat up. And I watched the mistreatment and the misvalue of Black women. It didn't matter how many master's degrees she had. She still ended up driving the RTD bus. Mm. And so and my father was like, he was busy trying to help and heal the world. Mm-hmm. And my mother was there to take care of me. Right. Mm-hmm. So acting was the thing that I was good at because I was always taught to express yourself and be emotional. It's okay. Let those things out. And when I realized that I could make a living, it was even like, oh shit, I could make some money out of this shit.
I could be my whole self.
I could be my whole self.
Right. And somebody else.
That's right. So it really was a way out for me. I hate to say it. I don't hate to say it that way. I'm actually proud to say it that way because that's the truth. I didn't go to Yale. I didn't get some fancy college education, which, there are times when I wish that I could have or would have. But the reality is that wasn't the path that was set for me. This was about survival. Mm. And I think some people come into this game with a different skill set. Mm-hmm. and they're trained and they're professionally trained and they're considered to be better than some of us who have not been professionally trained. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, if you're real in what you're doing and you're authentic, that's the shit that makes you good. Mm. It's not about look, if I could go and be educated, and go to Yale, I don't know that I would or that I wouldn't. I'm sure there are things that I would love to learn about. Right. But for me, this was about survival and success. And how do we, as a family, push forward? And so I had a great acting coach, Betty. I love Detroit too. Hey. I had a great acting coach, Betty Bridges, who not only did she teach me the art of acting, but she taught me how to get the job. Mm. And there's a big difference.
Mm. But when you're saying that, though, Nia, it's like, though you may not have went and got educated in the way that you're talking about, but you got educated through life. So when we're talking about experiences, you being on the set with John Singleton, when we're talking about you just playing other characters and playing nuances of their specific life, you got an education in life. And then with you learning, we grew up with you teaching us.
Yeah.
That it's cool to express, that it's cool to be the beautiful brown girl, that it's cool to kind of be where you really are from. And that's one of the things that I can say, like, actually being your friend, like, you are so authentic. And you're so...
Hi, Jordan! My friend so Jordan just popped on.
What up, Jordan? And anybody who knows you knows that Nia's going to come with the real, Nia's going to come with the truth. And I love that about you. And in this industry, sometimes it's hard to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes they'll be like, don't be honest, now you're difficult. And you're like, well,
oh my God. That's been the story of my life. But what I realize is, this is such a beautiful time for Black people to actually reconnect with their authentic selves. And I've never felt the need to be politically correct. If I believe in something, I believe in something. If I don't believe in it, then that's not for me. And I don't need to tear the next person down to feel like I'm, accomplishing what I want to accomplish in that moment, whatever it is. I definitely feel the need to stay authentic to who I am in the moment. I can celebrate other people doing it their way. I have no problem with that. But I just know that you can't be good at everything at the same time.
Okay, wait, let's unpack that. Let's unpack that. Because that's a life lesson for me right now. We're unpacking this. Let's unpack that, please. Tell me about it.
Well, what I mean is, you know, I can't possibly be a good actress if I don't allow myself to have certain life experiences beyond the things that I know that are basic to me. In the sense of, like, okay, so I have my children, and your children are the closest thing to you, and they are also the people in your life that force you to be at your best at all times. And when you're not at your best, they will let you know. So that personal growth that's outside of the camera. And those are the moments that actually I believe make me a better actress. Because I'm able to re-examine things that may have worked for me last year, but that just don't work for me this year.
And you're allowed to reset.
You have to reset.
I don't think we talk about that enough, though, Nia. I feel like we don't really honor the whole. You have to reset. You have to rethink. You have to rebrand. You have to reimagine how you view yourself, because it's like the self-identity thing, especially in this town, where it's like when people know you as Nia the actress, and you're like, but I'm also Nia the mom, Nia the daughter, Nia the cousin, Nia the friend.
Nia the chef, Nia the housekeeper, Nia the dog walker, Nia the, what else am I, guys? What else do I do around this camp? Oh, nurse. My son just said I'm Nia the nurse.
Yeah.
We have to. That's the thing. We have to be able. As a woman, I want to be all things.
Yeah.
I'm not just interested in this idea that I have this super shiny life and all that, and I'm an actress and I'm famous. Yeah, that's been a beautiful part of my life. But that's not, all of who I am.
And when we think
about who I aspire to be.
And because we're not going to go into politics, that's just too much. But it's inevitable that 2020 has just been a lot. As a mother of two young Black men, you've been very active about just supporting and about just really, really spreading the message. And I love how you use your platform. Like, as a friend, when I see you posting stuff, I'm like, go, Nia. I see you in Jamaica on vacation, and you're like, but make sure y'all vote. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, And I think that people get caught up. I think the idea of fame and celebrity is so different now. With social media, this beautiful reason and how we can connect. And when we're talking about skill set, and we're talking about craft and talent, now you can blend into so many different ways, and we don't need to go there. But when we talk about longevity, which is, my friend, what you have, longevity. Talk to me about just like how you have reinvented yourself just like over the years.
Well, let me just say this about politics. I think when we vote, we give ourselves a presence instantly. We have an instant presence. And if you see what's going on in Georgia, we're able to really make a huge impact and a huge change in terms of the political landscape in Georgia. So that's important. So everybody out there in Georgia, I don't want to turn this into a conversation about politics, because I'm just trying to I'm trying to breathe. But what I will say is longevity, the base of having a long, beautiful career is committing to personal growth. I think you have to not be afraid to say no. I think you have to learn from your mistakes. I think you have to walk away from the business when it doesn't feel like what you need for your soul. I think you need to travel the world and see how other people live. I think you need to meditate. I think you need to talk to people that know more than you know. I just recently became friends with Elaine Brown of the Black Panthers, and my life is probably going to change from here on out after hearing her stories, because you think you know your history, But you don't really know your history until you talk to someone who has lived those things.
It's a completely different perspective.
Yeah, and also I've really, been depending on the women that I really admire for insight and guidance. I depend on Whoopi a lot. I love her. I think when she speaks, she's practical and she's direct, but she knows when to let that go and deal with this part. Sometimes we try to take on all of it, and the reality is you can't. You got to take on the parts that are relevant to your life and make those adjustments,
And forgive yourself when necessary.
Yes, for sure. Forgiveness and letting go of anger are two big ones. Because that's where the grace comes in. If you walk around angry all the time and you're like, why is this happening to me? Why is my life like this? You're not really creating space for God to work his miracles. And it's in that grace that you can kind of step back outside of yourself and go, hey man, I'm not going to stress out about this. This is the life we're living right now. It's not, it's bad. I mean, I feel bad even complaining because I know that there are people right now that are hungry.
Perspective.
So don't complain unless you really have something to complain about.
I mean, and Neil, what I think is interesting is I think people look at fame and celebrity as this task that's easy. But I don't think that many people are kind of taught about the flexibility it requires, the flexibility of your privacy, the flexibility of everybody who's attached to you, their life has changed now. You know what I mean? And the flexibility of living in a public bubble almost, but you're like, but I'm not just that bubble, how do you, and I love that about you, because you duck in, you duck out, you travel the world, you're like, okay, I'm back, I'm performing in this, I'm not performing in this, but how do you stay flexible? Is it the traveling? Is it your family? Is it the, your escapes with your friends?
I mean, I wouldn't really call myself flexible, Shawn.
You're flexible. You flexible.
I think I love what I love, and I know when something is not for me, and I'm okay to go, that's not really for me, so I'm going to go over here, right? I would say that I'm open, because when you have the grace, when you let go of the anger and you embrace the grace and you are open, that's when abundance come into your life, right? And so I would say that I'm open, but I would also say that I'm very rigid about the things that work for me and don't work for me. I'm not
when to say no.
I say no more than I say yes. I'm like, and not because I'm being defiant or rebellious or any of those things. I just don't agree to things that don't resonate with my spirit in the same way that you do. And that's okay. We don't have to apologize for those things anymore. We are allowed to say, here's my bottom line. And in my bottom line, I can give this of myself, but I'm not doing that over there. And if you don't like it, I don't really give a fuck. So this is the thing. This is the thing that I think, this is what happens when you do turn 50. You really get to a place where you're like, oh, really? Sorry, no, I'm not really doing that. And that's why they say the fuck you 50s. And I'm not saying fuck you to anybody, because I love everybody. And I especially love my fans who have held me down and who have been so beautifully supportive. But I would say that I just don't take things as serious as I used to. I'm just like, really? Is it that serious? I will say I'm very OCD about my house, though. And I think that has to do with COVID. My kids are like, Mommy, we just got home. I'm like, I don't care. Put your shoes in your room.
Put them in a plastic bag.
Plastic bag.
In my house.
Wipe down, spray.
Well, no, what I love about you is, and I saw my best friend Marlon is in here. What's up, Marlon?
Hi, Marlon.
You are a friend's friend. Like I can literally hit you at any time. You're like, "What's up, baby? What you need me to do? What you want to do?" But like, how important is it for you to have your tribe? You know, how important is it for you to have people that pour into you and that you pour into?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, the thing I love about you is you're so damn cute. Like your freaking nose and those freaking freckles and that damn body. Every time, like, as I'm eating potato chips, I'm looking at your workouts every day. I'm like, wow, he's been doing a lot of leg work. And I'm just slamming the chips. I would say that it's kind of an unspoken understanding. You know, like it's like,
unpack it, unpack it.
I'm trying. It's like when I met you, it was instant. I didn't know what you did or where you worked or what your story was. I liked you. I liked your energy. I liked your smile. I liked that you walked in the room with lightness and positivity. I like that you know who you are. I like that you stand for Black people and representation in the academy. I love that you work hard to, you know, push us to the forefront and allow us to be a part of something that was male dominated, and that was white. There were no Black people in the academy. I wouldn't be a member of the academy if it wasn't for you and the hard work, and if it wasn't for the fact that you really were like, no guys, something has to change here. And I wouldn't be involved in things like the Academy Museum, which I'm fighting hard for to make sure that, and I don't really have to fight that hard because Bill is amazing and he wants us all to be represented, but that we're all working hard so that Black people are visible to other Black people so that we can continue to work on the things that we're passionate about without feeling like we're lucky just to be there. No, you're lucky to have me. That's how it works.
That was a whole word, dear. But I mean, you know, I think though, seriously though, when you think about that, is whether it's culturally or just like within the industry, you know, even as a creative and as an artist like yourself, you know, you're kind of taught to come in and be thankful you got the job.
Right.
You know, and now we're starting to see just such a different, like a tide change just in the industry alone, as like the creators and the artists are really the ones holding the torch and really the ones pushing for change. And how are we all going to show up for that? You know, and that's why I say, like, we're seeing individual people like you use your platform for awareness, to bring light into things that may not have happened before. Neil, what type of decisions now, and you alluded to this a little bit, when you are deciding somebody's coming to you about a project, somebody's coming to you about something to be a part of, what moves you on the inside? Are you like, you know what, I'm going to follow my gut? Is you following your curiosity? What is it that leads you into those spaces now?
I mean, I think there has to be a certain amount of creative energy. I mean, a creative freedom and input in a way where I'm not feeling like I have to hold my tongue, like I can just say and be and do what I think without having to apologize. I think for so long we've all felt that like we have to apologize, or we have to make an excuse for being smart or being beautiful or being you know, good at what we do. We don't need to apologize. We are here to do what we do, and we don't need to make excuses.
And we don't need to explain why we're here, because no one else has to explain either.
No.
You did this interview, and I think you were talking to the Breakfast Club, and you were talking about the banker, and you stepping into the producer role, and what that was like, and you kind of wearing these different hats now as you're more seasoned in your profession. Talk to me about that producer, Nia, because I think what I love about that is you really being able to speak your piece as a player on the team.
Yeah.
And not, and I don't want to say just, but not someone who's in front of the camera. You're also behind the camera too. Like, talk to me about you stepping into that role a bit, because I don't think people understand that your pivot into that space.
Well, I think in order to create real change in this industry, like, you can't just do one thing. And when I started in this business, they weren't giving girls that looked like me the opportunity to direct and produce. That just wasn't happening. and times are changing. The business is changing, and I do see a difference. And I think what women are understanding, especially Black women, is that, okay, we're not going to ask for permission anymore. We're just going to do what we want to do. And I think my generation of artists were really sort of brainwashed into believing that there's 5 jobs. You're lucky if you get one. And you're lucky if you remain the hot girl for longer than, you know, a year or so. And so I'm excited. I'm excited that things are changing. I'm excited that I still have the energy to keep pushing the envelope and exploring other things while I'm also living my life.
Living your full life.
I live my full life. I have a beautiful life.
Yes.
I'm not trying to compete. There's no rush. Because when I do it to make it matter. I don't just do it for myself.
Nia, before you came on, I was like, I'm gonna have some tequila, because this is what we would be doing regularly.
Oh no, I just had a whiskey, a honey whiskey.
I was like, let me have the drink, so don't be and Nia gonna be talking. Okay, last question, I'm gonna let you wrap. I'm trying to figure out how to frame it. It's either if you were your younger you now, starting out in the business, knowing all that's happening with social, knowing all that's happening with just like the competing and competition and just aspects of it, what advice would you give these newbies out here? And I'm sure some of your fans who are wanting to be part of a smidgen of what you've done, what advice would you give them?
I would say that what you see on camera is not real unless you're the one in front of camera.
Unpack it.
And if you dress it up to make it look good, then are you really being your authentic self? Did you just go away? And I would also say that I love Megan Thee Stallion. I need everybody to understand how much I love her. I do all of her dances. You guys will never see me do that.
No. Wait, do you know the body dance?
Body yada 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 yada.
Hold on. We just gonna dance to it real quick on the way out.
I feel like I didn't really answer your question, but that's all good. Where is it? Hit it.
Get it.
Her faces be killing me. I love you, Shawn. Thank you, everybody who came to hang out with us today.
Nia, I love you. I'm gonna text you.
We have to do it again.
We do have to do it again. You know, maybe we'll do it in New York.
I know. Well, you know I'll be there very soon.
You know I'll be there very soon.
Are you okay? We can't talk about that on live, but
we're gonna talk about that off live.
Well, let's just make a date to walk over the Brooklyn Bridge.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that. Yep,
I want to do it.
I'm gonna have my mask on. We're gonna be socially distanced, 6 feet.
Okay.
I love you, Nia, though. But
I love you. I love you guys who came to hang out with us. I love you guys so much. I know that without you, none of this really means anything. Shawn could just be at my house, sitting on my couch.
Drinking tequila and you drinking whiskey. All right, baby, I'm gonna text you. I love you, Nia.
Love you.
Bye, baby.
Bye, honey.